What is it you want, Barry? What do you want? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. Hey, that's a pretty good idea. I'll give you the moon, Mary.
I'll take it.
God. Oh, God. Dear Father in heaven, I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me, show me the way. I'm at the end of my rope, right? Get me back! I don't care what happens to me! Get me back to my wife and kids! Help me, Clarence, please! Please! I want to live again! I want to live again! I want to live again. Please, God, let me live again.
I happen to see you had tweeted something the other day, and you had said you were talking about and sort of everybody does it this kind of Twitter this time of year and X. They'll say, "What are your favorite Christmas movies?" And I had said two of mine are "It's a Wonderful Life" and "A Christmas Story." And then I also saw that you had thrown down the exact same thing. So let's go into It's a Wonderful Life a little bit. What is it about this film for you that just puts it so high up there?
Well, it's just a great story, and obviously, you have George Bailey, who's done so many wonderful things in his life, and has sacrificed in many cases his own personal ambitions for whether it's family or community or whatever. He stays at home to run the savings and loan after his father passes away, which is the bedrock of the community. And everybody else runs off and they're chasing their dreams, and his brother's a war hero, and oh gosh, what's his name? The EHAW guy's out, with plastics making a fortune.
It was like his classmate or something. He said, "Oh, do you want to go in?" And he didn't go into the company.
Exactly. Yeah, so George passes up all these opportunities to serve his family and his community, and you think, what a great guy. But then, obviously, for those that don't know the story, what happens is there's kind of some embezzlement. Not his fault, actually. It's criminal on the other side. Mr. Potter, who is the antagonist, George's uncle, tends to hit the bottle a little bit, and he goes to make a deposit at Mr. Potter's bank, and when he does, he forgets to actually make the deposit and just hands Mr. Potter like $5,000, which is a heck of a lot of money back. This is before Bidenflation. Okay, this is a heck of a lot of money back in the 1930s when this is set. And then Mr. Potter just keeps it, hoping he's going to run George out of business. And, George basically freaks out and becomes depressed and is feeling sorry for himself, wants to jump off the bridge. And he does, where he's going to. And a little beknownst to him, there's a dude named Clarence who's actually an angel that jumps into the water first. George, being George, jumps in to save him. And basically then the story is about what the world would look like and what Bedford Falls would look like if it hadn't been for George Bailey. And, I think that'd be actually a great gift for a lot of people to see what the world would look like if we didn't exist or had never lived. And in George's case, it has monumental impacts on the community that he lives in and his family.
By the way, I just wanted to fact check something that you mentioned, that it was a lot more money back then than it is now. And I thought about it. I said, wonder what that would be today. So, and this is incredible.
Yeah.
$5,000 in 1940. And so when you're watching these old movies
was it five, Jack? I forget the exact.
Let's just say five. Let's say five. So $5,000 in 1940 in purchasing power equivalents, it is equivalent to $112,000 in 2024 money. So in give or take the 80 some years since that movie has come out, $5,000 is now equivalent to over $100,000. Boy, that sounds like something that would happen in Pottersville, wouldn't it, Glenn?
That sure does, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, and you're exactly right. Pottersville is a place. It's literally centrally controlled, and the whole idea is that folks pay rent, and they're kind of stuck there. They're trapped. And that's how Mr. Potter makes his money, is basically by keeping people in his shanty town, and they never get an opportunity to improve their own lives. So as you said, it's a great illustration of, of really centralized control. And when the elites take over and decide what's good for you, as opposed to how you want to live your life. And to me, that's also a pretty big part of the story, actually.
It's big too, because and I didn't even mean to mention this here, but here we are. When you're watching some of these films, and there's so many great movies from this era, Holiday Affair, Bells of St. Mary's, just so many great Christmas, the movie White Christmas itself with Bing Crosby, so many great films from this era. But people will say, in Holiday Affair, there's a whole plot about, the boy wants to take the train back because he wants to get the money, and it was an $80 train. And, $80 is a little bit of money today, but it's not something that's this huge outpouring of money so much that it becomes this major plot point. But back then it would have been. So I almost feel like we might have to get the Glenn Jacobs inflation calculator for classic movies so that people can add it to their film. So every year when someone mentions $5,000, you can see what that is in 2024 dollars.
Yeah, it's a ton more. It's a lot more. That's exactly right.
So yeah, $80. We're gonna do it right now. $80 in 1940. Yeah, that's almost $1,800 today. It's an incredible amount. It's almost so $2,000 for a toy train. Obviously would become something that becomes a plot point, because I can't accept this gift. That's way too much money for a child. Anyway, totally separate movie. But man, we really have to explain this to people, don't we?
Yeah, man, your point is well taken in the fact that inflation has accomplished what Pottersville did. For so many people, they're working so hard just to keep their heads above water because everything's gotten so expensive now. So it's hard to put away. It's hard to plan for the future. It's hard to save when things have become this expensive. So unfortunately, I know this is Christmas season and we're being a bit of Grinches here, but nevertheless, yeah, those are really important issues.
Well, and I think that gets into the heart of the movie as well. And of course, the film it's a savings and loan. And so because he's been trying so hard to make good on these loans and put the loans out and say, throw some money here, throw some money there. And it's actually a good financial tale as well, which is funny because, you don't expect to get your financial literacy from Christmas films, but it does have a great scene at the very end. Where's our money? Towards the end, I should say, where's our money? I said, well, your money's not here in the savings and loan. It's not just back in the safe. It's in your house, and it's in your house, and it's your garage, because that money goes out. By the way, though, that's the way those systems are supposed to work, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And it's funny, just getting on banking for a second.
Yeah.
One of the issues that has happened now is, it used to be that you had time deposits, which would be like CDs, and that's actually what banks would loan out. Then you would have your savings account, and those that did not bear interest. In fact, sometimes you actually had to pay because that was kept at the bank. Okay, that's just where you kept your money. They were two different things. Now we've conflated that, and now basically at a bank, everything is loanable. So you get into the whole thing about fractional reserve banking, and that's part of what causes inflation when the Fed creates money and it goes out to the banks, and then they only keep a little bit of it, but most of it actually goes out into circulation through loans. That's a great example of how things have gone awry. Back then, people understood you were not going to go to the bank and get your money out that day because it was being used, loaned to someone else, which is how you got interest for that. Nowadays, everything goes out. Banks make a lot of money, and then you get a little bit through interest, but that's about it.